I am Louis Paul. It's another Colors of Prog. It's our 27th episode of season one. Not sure if there'll be another, but there might be. Who knows? So I'm here to mention, discuss, and review sometimes progressive rock recordings from around the world. That's what I do with the Colors of Prog. So I always thank you very much for taking the time to watch this, and the feedback is always appreciated. I try to get better with this as I go along. There's quite a few things like this out there on YouTube and other media. But anyway, so we will start with Klaus Schulz, Moonlake. It's a solo recording, pretty much. Those of you who are unfamiliar with Klaus Schulz, he was a member of Tangerine Dream, and co-founded Ashra Temple, and then there were many incarnations of that. Worked with Stomo Yamashita's Go, alongside Stomo Yamashita, Steve Winwood, and others, including Al Di Meola. So, what does this sound like? Well, if you're familiar at all with Klaus Schulz's work, the very unfortunately monikered and tagged krautrock, usually thought of as percussive electronic music, much like Tangerine Dream in the mid to later years. But Klaus, I always found Klaus Schulz's music, apart from Ashra Temple, which is another discussion altogether, to be very ambient, very electronic. He plays a variety of keyboard-oriented instruments. I'm not even going to go into it, but it's quite good. So this Moonlake, which was originally recorded between 2003 and 2005, was recently remastered on vinyl, as you can see, in 2018 on the BMG Oblivion label out of Germany. Gorgeous sounding remaster. And it's 200 gram weight, two LPs have never appeared so heavy. Well, it's 200 gram, right? It's just really, really good stuff. So it was originally released, I believe, in 2010, 2011, if not a little sooner than that. But the remastering job is really nice. It's only 5 tracks, but they run the gamut from 15 to 10 minutes plus on this. Really nice for those who like instrumental, ambient, strange music. This is really, really highly recommended. Klaus Schulz, Moonlake. I've mentioned Klaus in the past, and I've, of course, spoke of Tangerine Dream in the past, and Ashra Temple, and there's so much material, we'll be getting to that in later shows. Jumping to our one of our first Italian-related bands to be discussed is PFM, Emotional Tattoos. This is very good. Now, there are hardcore PFM fans, addicts, who disregarded this album when it first came out in 2017, which is not that long ago, because they did an Italian language and an English language version, and they were locking that into a grouping of, well, Italian bands shouldn't sing in English, etc. Why do I say this is very good? This is very good. This is really quite a collection of songs. And what's even more interesting is that the if you could find this, this was released on the Inside Out Sony Music label. Inside Out also handles a lot of American bands and British bands, and a smattering of others. They did a fine job with this. Um, the the vinyl includes the album in English language, and it came with two CDs, which was nice. And one included the English language version, as well as the original Italian language version. All are fine. Um, PFM, of course, have come out with another just released album within the last 2 months of 2021. But nice, fine job. Here's the band as it is now. And Franz Di Cioccio and Patrick De Givas are still there. They're still working the magic, still working the gold. This PFM album is really good. Lovers of Italian Prague. Um, I think it's interesting. I've spoken to a few people who said, because I did a few postings about this, they'll take another listen, and then they really liked it. It's quite an adventurous take for the band because they managed to, they've had some not such stellar albums. Who does in a 40 plus year career? But I thought none of them were stinkers. I really liked this because it spoke to the strengths musically, and they managed to, over the years, acknowledge other music. And they kind of folded it in and formatted a new sound. So Emotional Tattoos by PFM, highly recommend it. And if you're so lucky to, since it's not that old, to find a release of the vinyl, which included the two CDs, I'd say jump on that because it's really, really good. Now, Goblin. This is called Four of a Kind. The other Goblin. So, what does he mean? Everyone beside Claudio Simonetti. So we have Massimo Moranti, Fabio Pignatelli, that thick ass bass, Maurizio Guarini on keyboards, and Augusto Marangelo on drums. Why am I so keen on this one? Because whereas, and they themselves have done it numerous times, they've re-recorded classic Goblin tracks, the Argento film, Suspiria, Deep Red, so on and so forth over the years, as well as done many live recordings. I believe it's nice to hear some original sounds. And so this actually are all original tracks. Not the last time they will do this, and I will get to that another time. But this is not too old, I believe, within the last 5 or 6 years. It was actually done on a Swiss label, go figure, and it was relicensed to a American-based label, a small indie called Back to the Fudder. Yeah. Anyway, this neat little, that was the slipcase. This neat little thing comes with, believe it or not, mini playing cards, which feature caricatures of the band members, which, nice little touch. We all recognize this fellow. And the CD itself sounds quite nice. There's a bonus track here from the Goblin Live in Austin, which is a separate release. Also available on DVD, which seems to be back ordered everywhere frequently, from Back to the Futta. The tunes are Uneven Times, In the Name of Goblin, Mouse Roll, Bonton Kingdom, Dark Blues, Love and Hate, number 8, because they couldn't think of a song title, I'm assuming, and a Live in Austin track. I actually have the Live in Austin. I will be speaking to that much later in this show in another episode, but I think that's tremendous for Goblin fans. And if you guys haven't heard the Austin, Texas tour that this unit did, um, it's pretty damn amazing. So, Goblin. What does Goblin sound like? Well, if you're a fan of Italian thriller films, especially those of Dario Argento, you know, and I don't need to repeat myself. Otherwise, it's very, very heavily instrumental. And they only did one album where they used vocals. And we'll be speaking of that another time. As a band, they're very spacey and they're very atmospheric and thudding bass and great drums and guitar, keyboard interplay. There was a lot of bands that were influenced by them. Um, they're the penultimate goth band, if you would ask me. I mean, really, a lot of bands have been influenced by Goblin, but nice to see this lineup. It would have been great. Now, Simonetti does rejoin them on occasion, and there have been some recordings in the recent 5 to 6 years where they got back together. They only did 4 or 5 tracks, okay, except those 4 or 5 tracks happen to be other versions of Goblin songs that were well known and well recorded by the band themselves, and separately Simonetti and his band, Daemonia, now called Claudio Simonetti's Goblin, and this version of Goblin. Now we're going to jump to Focus. One of the great bands. I mentioned in the previous show that I mentioned Tull and I mentioned Focus. And Tull and Focus were just one of the few bands from other countries that influenced music from other countries. And this neat little box, yes, you read that clearly, 9 CDs and 2 DVDs, that's 11 items in here. Has to be, and there's not a lot of people talking this set up. Comes from the Netherlands, the Red Bullet label, which actually also has been remastering some golden earring material, Moontan in particular. One of the best remastering jobs I ever heard. Now, there's a Caravan box set, there's a Van der Graaf Generator box set, official, both of those, and one has 23 discs or more or less, one has 30 nearly, plus remastering of particular albums, some live material, some extra material found in the vaults, whatever. But this Focus, if you like the band Focus, the Dutch band, Thies van Leer, Jan Ackerman are the main key players here. This is the one to get. And look around, you can get a great deal on this. People should be talking this up. That's probably why I'm talking about. So what's in this thing? So we have, now everything's in CDs. So we have Focus Plays Focus, also known as In and Out of Focus. Gorgeous remastering of this album. Plus is some extra tracks. Focus Chew, also known as Moving Waves in some countries. We have Focus 3 and the famous song they keep playing over and over, which everyone knows as Hocus Pocus. Probably of the 3 most famous songs, the most overplayed song by Focus, but as well a huge, huge hit worldwide. Also, answers, questions, questions, answers, and House of the King. So really terrific. Focus at the Rainbow. You never actually heard it like it appears on here. Then we have Hamburger Concerto, Mother Focus, Ship of Memories. Those last three I always thought were not as good as these, but hearing them almost come alive again on this excellent remastering job by Red Bullet, I'm like, wow, okay. And the last two CDs are one was primarily focused at the BBC in 1973, height of the period, and then various other Focus live gigs, 71 through 75, and then there's two DVDs of Focus various gigs from different programs. And I usually play these through all region players, so I'm sorry I can't tell you right now if they will play on your home device, but if you have a home region DVD, Blu-ray, or all whatever player, you'll be able to see these. If you buy these just for the footage and you can't play it, I'm set up for everything, so I'm able to see it. So apologies beforehand, but it's certainly one of the best things I've heard in a long time as far as remastering jobs. This is what I like to hear. Good bass, good guitar, finding the original master tapes. And when you can, going in and digging deep and spending time, and I'm assuming they spend some money on this, really separating it out. I mean, phenomenal job. So last but not least, one of my personal favorites of this year, and it's actually pretty hard to find, so I'm sorry about that. Vittorio di Scalzi's pretty much the story of the new trolls. So what is this? So Vittorio di Scalzi is a member of the New Trolls, Atomic New Trolls, and et cetera, et cetera. They did this phenomenal Concerto Grosso albums with Luis Bacalov, the composer. And so this is pretty much his autobiography. It's at a pretty high typeface. It's about 100 pages, but it does feature the story of the new trolls. So it has Vittorio going in as a solo artist with some band members from New Trolls and others, and he's going over some of the great New Trolls sound, great Italian prog, and then CD2 is Concerto Grosso 1 and 2 live, but it's not any of the released live version we heard before. It's yet another one. Then there's a DVD, and it's actually Vittorio di Scalzi's tribute to a well-known artist. I'm usually very much prepared. Another Italian artist. Sorry for that, folks. But anyway, the DVD is quite nice. It actually is a little older material. It's a live show from 2005. And there was a tour concurrently with PFM's DeAndre tribute tour. And this also has a lot of interesting people playing on it. Nice sound. The visual quality is good. You do need a Region 2 player for this, as opposed to the Focus one I mentioned, where I said when I watched those, I watched them on the old Region, but I know for this Italian DVD, you do need a Region 2 player. Anyway, it's great. It's symphonic prog. sometimes in English. So, New Trolls, what did they sound like? One of the great unsung bands of Italian prog. They frequently sung in English, as well as their home language of Italian language. Um, the band, phenomenal band. The guitar players usually sound like Jimi Hendrix. I kid you not. The guys are that good. They like to cover popular American songs. Let It Be Me. Yes, the Everly Brothers. And it sounds terrific. Um, the story of the New Trolls, the main CD, has some recent works by Vittorio. And there's a cheekily named song called America Okay. But I have to say, aside from the rah uh, chorus, it's pretty good. It reminded me a bit of something from West Side Story. It's really well done. Also, this band has amazing knack for vocals, and probably one reason why Luis Bacalov, the well-known Spaniard composer of Spaniard heritage, who worked in Italy a lot on Italian thrillers, Italian crime films, dramas, etc., worked with them often. He also did work with Osana and other bands, other Italian bands, but working with New Trolls, I think Bacalov really liked working with them because he knew they were so damn talented. So there, you could hear a song and it sounds like, hey, wait a minute, doesn't it sound like Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young? I'm like, yeah, it does. I mean, so where do you get this? You have to look around. You might find this on Discogs, eBay. Amazon had it infrequently. Pardon. But this is brand new, 2021. This little box book with the discs in the back came from a Zora Music brand new release. So within the last few weeks, last month or so, highly recommend this. Yes, it's one of those items from left field, but truly. So I guess this show is pretty much things I really like, and I really recommend it. And if this is the last episode of the season, I wish you all happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. That happened. Um, Yule, etc. Stay well, be happy, try. And I'll be back again. Who knows? I might be back before the year is out with the penultimate show, but one never knows. So, anyway, thank you for listening so much.